She walked out a crowded college party and was never seen again. No goodbye, no trace, no answers. Just a 20-year-old girl who stepped into the night and vanished. It was June 3rd, 2011, in Bloomington, Indiana, a warm summer night in a bustling college town. Indiana University students were celebrating the end of another semester, filling the bars and house parties that lined the streets. Among them was Lauren Spierer, a bright, athletic, and social young woman who had come to Bloomington full of dreams. But within hours, her name would become a haunting reminder of how quickly an ordinary night can spiral into a mystery that still baffles investigators more than a decade later. Lauren Spierer wasn't just another student. She was the only child of Robert and Charlene Spierer, raised in a close-knit family in New York. She studied fashion merchandising at Indiana University and quickly became known as friendly, energetic, and adventurous. She had a wide circle of friends, a boyfriend she cared about deeply, and a life filled with plans for the future. But on that early June morning, her life and her family's world was shattered. On the night of June 2nd, Lauren went out with friends. She and her boyfriend Jesse had argued earlier in the day, so she went out without him. That decision, some argue, would prove fateful. She started at Kilroy's Sports Bar, a popular IU hangout spot. Witnesses said she had been drinking heavily. At some point, she left her phone and shoes at the bar, which would later complicate the timeline. From there, she went to a friend's apartment, and then another. Witnesses recall her being visibly intoxicated, stumbling at times, but still determined to keep the night going. By 4:30 a.m., Lauren left the apartment of a student named Jay Rosenbaum. Several friends claimed they tried to convince her to stay, but she insisted on going home. It was only a short walk, barely 2 blocks, yet she never made it. When Lauren didn't come home, her friends assumed she had crashed at someone's apartment. But by mid-morning, it became clear something was wrong. Her boyfriend couldn't reach her. Her phone was at the bar, and she wasn't answering calls. By that evening, panic set in. Police were contacted. The search began. Detectives quickly pieced together her final movements. Security cameras showed her leaving the bar barefoot. Witnesses placed her walking near 11th and College Avenue. Around 4:30 a.m., one friend said she left his apartment, saying she wanted to go home. That was the last confirmed sighting. Police flooded the area with officers and volunteers. Flyers went up within hours. Her parents drove from New York to Indiana immediately and never left. Search parties combed rivers, forests, fields, and construction sites. Nothing. The media descended on Bloomington. CNN, NBC, and national outlets carried the story. Thousands of tips poured in, but each lead seemed to dissolve into nothing. Very quickly, investigators focused on the group of men who had been with Lauren that night. Names like Corey Rossman, Michael Beth, and Jay Rosenbaum became central to the case. They admitted they were with her during her final hours, but their stories didn't always align. According to Corey, Lauren was extremely intoxicated. At one point, he claimed she fell and hit her head. Some witnesses said she was so impaired she could barely walk straight. Yet her friends allowed her to leave alone around 4:30 a.m. Why? That decision remains one of the most hotly debated aspects of the case. Another man, Jay Rosenbaum, insisted he last saw her walking away from his apartment, heading home. He said he offered her a place to stay, but she refused. Police questioned all of them extensively. None were ever charged, but suspicions linger to this day. Some believe Lauren never actually left those apartments alive. Her intoxication, combined with drug use at night, may have led to a medical emergency. The theory goes that someone panicked, covered up what happened, and disposed of her body. Her parents have been vocal about this possibility, suggesting the group of men know more than they've admitted. Others argue Lauren may have encountered a stranger after leaving the apartments, a passerby, perhaps watching from the shadows, who took advantage of her vulnerability. Bloomington had its share of violent crimes, including assaults and abductions. Could Lauren have been targeted simply because she was alone, barefoot, and defenseless? A third theory suggests Lauren may have wandered off, injured herself, or accidentally drowned in one of the creeks nearby. Extensive searches with dogs, divers, and helicopters found nothing. But some say she could have ended up somewhere investigators simply missed. Still others point to Lauren's wider social circle. Some of her friends admitted drug use was common in their group. Was she connected to something larger? Something authorities have chosen not to reveal? Her parents have suggested more than once that people in Bloomington know the truth, but refuse to come forward. Lauren's parents, Robert and Charlene, refused to let her story fade. They gave interviews, organized searches, and filed lawsuits against some of the young men who saw her last, alleging negligence. Though the lawsuits were later dismissed, they kept public pressure on the case. Charlene has often said, "Someone knows, someone saw something, someone is lying." Over the years, tips came in from all over the country. Bones were found in nearby fields, but DNA ruled them out. Witnesses claimed sightings, but none were confirmed. At one point, police investigated a connection between Lauren's case and another missing Indiana student, Hannah Wilson, who was murdered in 2015, but no evidence linked the two cases. In 2021, police said they were still actively investigating leads. More than 3,500 tips had been processed. Yet no arrests, no charges, no closure. More than a decade later, the case of Lauren Spierer remains one of the most haunting unsolved disappearances in American college history. She left a party, walked into night, and vanished forever. Her parents still wait for answers. Her friends still live with questions. And Bloomington still whispers about what really happened that night. So, what do you think happened to Lauren Spierer? Did she meet foul play at the hands of people she trusted? Was she abducted by a stranger on the short walk home? Or is the truth buried somewhere in the contradictions of that night's stories? Leave your theory in the comments below, because until the truth comes out, this case will remain one of America's most chilling mysteries.